What's up, everybody? Got a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk some NFL talk, some NBA rumors, some Bulls editions, some possible New York Knicks next season, some college football talk, and we got our great special guest today, Julian Huff, another Gopher legend, our other big bro. How you doing today, Julian?
I'm great. You know, I wouldn't call myself a legend.
No,
would you call
yourself
that?
We'll give
Not
you
only
your
are you a
flowers.
legend, you're a living legend.
Mr. Corporate too, hey, if y'all need somebody to sponsor, let us know, sponsor us, give us
I was
some more
going
spots.
to ask y'all got any inquiries, any people that are reaching out to you?
I mean, you would be our first one.
Energy drinks.
We're working through. We're going through the email. We're gonna be strategic with our partnerships at the end of the day. So
Right.
It is
You
a
gotta be
business.
strategic.
But now, you ready to get into it, Julian?
Yeah, man, let's get it.
Let's start off with some NBA rumors. Now, I seen somebody say that, it's reported that the Knicks, if they were to get Donovan Mitchell, they would possibly try and get a Russell Westbrook too. Now, what would that duo do in the East, you think?
NBA is very volatile. Or in general, my takes aren't necessarily great, considering the fact that I'm not a basketball player. Never was. Didn't plan to be. So, but
okay.
Relative to my understanding, a Russ and Donovan duo would be ass.
It's my estimation.
Right. So I mean, I do think Russ can figure it out with the Lakers, and they can make that duo, or that trio, I should say. I do think they can make that work, and they can make a long playoff run, but LeBron ain't getting another chip no matter what. He gonna need it.
Okay. Hey, that's possibly a hot take right there.
Yeah.
Especially as it's constructed. I don't see what the hell they thinking over there. I think if they don't get Kyrie, they bottom 8th, 7th seed at best. So
I think they'll at least put some butts in the stands. Donovan Mitchell,
Oh,
Russell
without
Westbrook.
doubt. There's hella Knick fans. They ain't got a shortage of Knick fans at all. Problem is, that shit ain't gonna work.
First of all, didn't Utah want 6 first rounders or some crazy shit? Who's matching that price?
Yeah, the package for the Knicks was like, they wanted Quickly, they wanted Barrett, they wanted 4 first-round picks too. Like, they wanted the whole young core and like all the future.
People ain't even offering that for KD. What the hell? How the hell they think they gonna get that for Donovan Mitchell?
Right. Well, I pay attention to the Bulls. The Bulls is my team, and that's where my blinders are. You know what I'm saying? So the Knicks. The only thing I know about the Knicks is Tom Thibodeau. He's a hell of a coach. He's been a disappointment to New York. But I don't know, man. You never know what could happen.
Now with Thibodeau, I think this is probably going to be one of his last year, his proven year, because they really struggled. Management, they go have their battles, but if the Knicks can pull it off, they're going to be a playoff team with that roster. Yeah. But you talked about KD, what the package would be with that. Who would you rather have? 2 years of KD or long-term Donovan Mitchell?
That's tough. But to be honest with you, I don't think Donovan Mitchell can be the best player on a championship team. Whereas KD is no question. He was the best player on the best team of all time. So
would you say that? Would you say the same about Dwayne Wade?
What? I don't think anybody is comparing Donovan Mitchell to Dwayne Wade at this point in his career. Bubble Donovan Mitchell. Hell yeah, we thought he was the second coming.
Donovan Mitchell was up there.
That man got the Spider-Man deal. He was probably gonna be the next Spider-Man in the multiverse or some shit. That was the trajectory he was on. But as of late, he is just not that guy, and he's proved it. And if he was, there would be no question Utah would keep him.
Yeah, Utah would have possibly gone farther in the playoffs if he was that guy.
Exactly. And he's young enough to where, although they're blowing it up, he could still be part of the rebuild. So the fact that they're willing to get rid of him, I think only goes to show what his value is to the team that he's been his whole career. Although I will say that with the new management, Danny Ainge, he's just trying to rebuild, start from scratch. But you wouldn't not do that with KD at that point in his career. So Donovan Mitchell ain't even close, or will never be close to the ceiling we've seen from KD.
That's fair. Now we talked a little about KD. Let's talk to his sidekick, his Robin to his Batman, Kyrie. Now there are some trades possibly circling. He's going to definitely possibly be on the move. What do you think about Miami instead of going for KD, Lowry for Kyrie? Skinny Kyle Lowry at that.
Oh,
and what else?
Skinny Kyle Lowry.
Some other guys.
I prefer my Kyle Lowry a little thicker, in my humble opinion.
It's like a thick Luther Vandross.
Right.
You gotta
ass be jiggling, all the flopping he be doing and shit. Quit all that flopping, boy.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Lowry, he's a champion. He know what it takes to win.
Period.
And I'm gonna agree with Jayden. I would prefer him thick because we don't, he ain't never been no crazy athlete.
Right.
But at the same time, I wouldn't trade much for Kyrie Irving either. That being said, I honestly think he's just past that point of his career where he could be the best player on a championship team. And that's just my take. Part of that has to do, in my opinion, I don't think you can play that well when you can't eat food during the playoffs. I genuinely think that shit had an effect.
Hakeem and them did it.
Hakeem, I mean, let's be honest. He did it.
They said it helped them because it made them lock in. The focus was there.
He did it in a Jordan-less NBA, did he not?
That's not the point. He played at a high level, although it was during his faith's situation. So
factor though, Julian, I'll give you that. It definitely, you're not eating, I've worked at Target, not eating, this shit's hard.
You was about to pass out in the aisle and shit, huh? You was going to open a box of fruit snacks.
Hey, we can't get into that. But yeah, definitely. So
are you stealing shit at Target?
You said,
I hope this thing works out.
But Julian, you said you're a big Bulls guy. So let's get into some of the Bulls moves they made in free agency. Drummond, Goran Dragic. What about those moves? What did you think about those?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I really wanted Gobert. I thought he could have took us to that next level. And by next level, I mean he would have had some rings on them fingers in Chicago, and I believe that. But Drummond, he's just a role player. He ain't what he was. And then who else you say? Dragic?
Yeah, the Dragon.
He's gonna be another role player. But if you ask me, we don't need Dragic. We already got a steal of the draft in Ayo Dosunmu. Probably going to be next year going to be the most improved player of the year, in my opinion.
I'll take Paul over him.
Yeah, and you look at our backcourt, we got plenty of Gordon Dragic's on our team, if not better, to be honest with you.
Kobe White?
Spending the money for that name is unnecessary. But you know, who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm excited.
You ain't mad about having guys like that on your bench.
Yeah, but what has he ever done other than score? I mean, you know, he ain't got no chips or nothing.
I don't think our to be in our rotation requires rings.
Okay, at least Tristan Thompson got some rings, you know.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
We had to get rid of him. He had too much time on his hands. He was doing a little other shit on his.
Oh, Tristan Thompson ain't coming back?
No, yeah. Bro, did you just see what just happened with him? He said he had a kid. Him and Chloe said they had their kid. They announced it Friday. Sunday, he's in Greece with his side chick. Like, what the fuck?
What's that got to do with anything? I'm just playing.
He's fried for that, but you know, from a basketball perspective, that shit don't make no difference.
Now,
right, what does that have to do with his roster situation, his job security?
I mean, it is. You want the fans to, you know, like the people on the team. You want that plays a factor, kind of, you know.
I think Tristan Thompson added a lot to our team, and I hope. And Andre Drummond can bring the same energy, can bring the same rebounds, but I doubt it, to be honest with you.
I think Drummond will provide more.
What has he done anywhere?
Drummond, he looked good in Philly, and when he went to Brooklyn, he had some good games. He's not going to be the 20 and 17 guy he was, you know, before in Detroit.
Right. We just need a big body to get in front of Embiid in case we got to see them in 7. Because he gonna terrorize Vooch ass.
I mean, if we look at it objectively, though, you know, all of us are former athletes, and all of us have been around veterans and people that played the game a long time. We ourselves have experienced what it takes for you to make your body into being somebody that could play that long, or else your physical attributes begin to decrease. You lose your legs. Among everything else, you know, you need your legs to play basketball, and I don't think that man got any legs anymore.
That's what I'm saying. What has he done recently?
No, I think he's a good role player, but Julian, you said you wouldn't give up that price for Rudy Gobert. You would have possibly made it. You live in Minnesota right now. Do you think that move, Gobert to the Timberwolves, was a good move?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? The Timberwolves are going to be a problem. You know, and they're going to at least go to not the last round of the playoffs, but I would venture to say
second round.
They can definitely beat the Mavericks as presently constructed. They can definitely beat Phoenix. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah.
They just gotta get some better coaching.
True.
Whatever dude was doing last year was an abomination, to be honest with you. When you got
when you see that many swings,
motherfuckers score 20 points in a row, you don't even call a timeout. It's like shit like that.
Multiple games in a row.
And you as players allow that shit to happen. It just screams youth. It screams inexperience.
Right.
And as long as they had that, if they would have had that in my assumption, I think they would have won that series with who'd they lose to?
Memphis.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they would have genuinely won that series with Memphis because really Memphis.
Yeah, I think so too. That was their series to lose.
Yeah, in my opinion, Memphis was all bark and no bite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they just played hard during the regular season. I don't think they like that, honestly.
Without a doubt. And I think the Timberwolves will definitely beat Memphis this year, and for sure. I mean, you know, they just got dudes that they just don't got no dogs.
When you play a team like, for example, the Mavericks or the Clippers, where they're just gonna play 5 wings and just spread you the fuck out, and you got to adjust to that. But obviously, you take Rudy off the floor, but I don't know. We'll see.
But it all comes down to who's hooping though, because if you got 5 wings that ain't shooting well, what's the point of having 5 wings?
if Rudy Gobert is on the floor, they're going to be shooting well. Somebody's going to have the hot hand, and that's the only downfall with him. Although he's a great rim defender, he's super athletic, great off the pick and roll, catch the oop. He's just a guy that if you put a bunch of shooters on the floor, he's kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, he is unplayable in the playoffs when it gets down to those times.
He said unplayable.
Everybody knows
Draymond was what, game 5?
And
Got a
Rudy
care in the
Gobert
world.
is just a regular season player.
I mean, we could say that. Yeah.
It all depends on the matchup.
I'm inclined to agree with you, but I also feel like people don't really respect the impact a defender has on the game. You know,
we don't see.
No,
Utah's
we don't.
Gonna be so much
the
worse
impact
this year without him.
is getting less and less in today's NBA.
See, it is, and the rules are paralleled with that. Same thing with football.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see defense. Nobody wants to look at great defense and appreciate it, or like it's not entertaining to them. So, comes with the territory.
But now, so we talked a little about LeBron, the Lakers, Western Conference contenders. So LeBron recently played in the Drew League. He dropped 42. Can we be happy about that? Can we congratulate him on that? When it's guys like UPS drivers.
Man, you know what? That shit is crazy. And I have once been in my life a LeBron hater. I was a card carrying LeBron hater for a long time. But seeing shit like that, you can't do nothing but just sit back and look at that shit and be in awe of how he takes care of his body and the preparation that he goes through every single day to make that shit happen. I mean, you really think about Carmelo Anthony is the same age as
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins is the same age. You know, who else? What's his name? Chris Paul ain't doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're around the same age. D-Wade, of course. Well, Dwayne's a little bit older, but yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, come on, man. I mean, nobody's doing that. Nobody has ever done that in the history of.
Well, yeah, he's 1-1, of course.
So.
We saw last year him have one of his best seasons statistically. What do you think about this Lakers team this year then? You think they got a shot?
I'm going to answer that, but, you know, you also got to think Jordan wasn't dunking on people in the 90s, bro.
That's true.
He was dunking on motherfuckers in the 80s. Crazy dunks.
Right.
But he wasn't dunking on nobody in the 90s. Outside of maybe once he dunked on Mutombo in the 90s, I want to say.
Gave him the finger.
He gave him the finger. But he didn't slam him crazy. But to answer your question, I think the Lakers are gonna figure it out. I think they're gonna do something in the playoffs this year. I don't think he'll muster up what it takes to beat. I don't even think they can beat the Timberwolves.
Another hot take.
But you know what I mean? You never know what happens with LeBron doing shit like that. I mean, can you really count him out?
Yeah, you can, because you got Russell Westbrook over there, and how can you not play your best 3 players in crunch time? Because guess what? A whole side of the floor is not being guarded because Russ can't shoot a 3. You can't play all 3 of them at the same time and Russ down the stretch.
Russ could never shoot a 3. He was never a 3-point shooter. That being said,
and he's never won a chip.
Well, Russ is toxic. I think
So how the hell they gonna figure out? He just fired his agent, so maybe that was the problem.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
that's
was
why he
the
was
problem.
throwing Vogel under the bus.
Right.
He was getting into it with his agent.
No, but you know what? That whole situation with him and Vogel is fried. You know, I got a real problem when people don't take responsibility for their outcome or their behavior. And you got
Period.
guys like Jamarcus Russell going on the Pivot podcast just making excuses and shit.
Man, that shit was funny as hell.
Like watching that shit was like uncomfortable for me. Like
There's a
literally, it's
right
like
and a wrong way to do business. We got to be professionals.
exactly. So you know, Russell going on the press conference talking shit about
Yeah,
a
that's not
coach
cool.
that just got fired. It's like, dude, man, stop. He
You
wasn't out there
burning
shooting.
bridges, low key. You
Right.
burning bridges. Like if you are old vet in the game and you just traveling across the country getting picked up here and there, and he's a head coach on one of these teams, and he's like, no, I'm cool on him. Not you just blocked your blessing.
Right.
True. You know, you've been talking about if it like in the NFL, all that. Well, let's transition to the NFL for you, Julian. Now, so Deshaun Watson. This time it's not another allegation. It's this time he said he's going to sue the NFL if he's suspended for a full year. What do we think about that?
He's well within his rights. I mean, I'm not a Deshaun
We're about to get
Watson.
canceled.
I'm not a Deshaun, but I mean, come on, we acting like people don't have rights. You have right to countersue, to sit up here and protect what you believe is the truth. And you know, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the massage appointments with dude. You know, I don't know what happened, but I will say, it looks bad.
Already past that part.
It's getting better for him, I think, though. Like with
but
this.
At the same time, though, you know, the NFL from a perception standpoint and all the optics that go along with it, they just wait for shit to die down. And I say that knowing that the NFL knew good and damn well what type of person John Gruden was. They knew good and damn well. They know good and damn well what type of person Dan Snyder is. You know, they don't give a fuck.
Right. And if me and you shooting the shit over email and you saying some wild shit, what am I responding to hype you up? To you know what I'm saying? It's take two to tango. How you gonna out John Gruden? And he had a case. They probably cashed him out so he wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
And look at this Texans situation. The Texans settled all 30 cases against them on these women. So it had a little bit of buzz, but no media attention at all after that. Haven't heard about it since.
Right.
So if you look at it from that perspective, if the Texans aren't going to be held accountable by the NFL for having some, and you know the NFL damn near got people in the FBI who do these investigations for them.
Yeah.
They know good and damn well that the Texans were involved if they were so willing to just hand them a bag and keep it moving. So if Deshaun will be held accountable, I think the Texans should be too. So if they aren't, Deshaun has an excellent argument towards that, which could get ugly, and they probably gonna bag him off too.
Another bag?
There's another 500 M's. Go. Fuck it. He gonna. Thanks, appreciate it. I ain't gonna say shit.
Right.
But go ahead, Julian.
So what y'all think? Y'all think he gonna get the whole year or what?
Yes.
It's trending up towards him possibly getting 6 or 8 games, I think.
I don't think so either. I don't think he gonna get the whole game. I think he gonna settle something. He gonna make everybody happy, or the NFL gonna make everybody happy for someone in some way. Because one thing they ain't gonna do is let the Browns lose all that damn money. In my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think there's a clause in the contract, like if he sit out a year, they can do something. I don't know, but
they can prorate his shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say this: the Browns also claimed that they did a thorough, investigation. I wouldn't say investigation, but they said they did their due diligence. So if they did that, and then gave him this amazing contract unheard of,
Yeah.
that also makes you think that he's not going to get a full year.
Well, wait
either.
a minute. Do you think he deserved that contract?
From a talent perspective,
off of coming off of only winning 4 games or 5 games,
but that year he had his best season.
No, he led the league in passing. I'm well aware.
Bro, he was one of the most efficient. I mean, he didn't have nobody. He was like literally the LeBron of football.
Yeah,
like young LeBron.
You can't think of one of his wide receivers that year.
Come on now. Nah, he deserves every penny from a talent perspective, but this situation is,
right.
It has a ripple effect on your team. So, I mean, look at it. The Browns probably won't have a good year because of all this stuff around them. You know what I'm saying? So, unless he plays, because that boy different.
They're going, yeah.
They're
gonna go crazy for sure.
Right. If he don't play, they're gonna be terrible.
But now we talked a little bit about some of the moves the Bulls made. Let's talk about the move the Bears made. N'Keal Harry traded to the Bears for a 7th round 2024 draft pick, which isn't shit.
7th round. I mean,
so what do you guys think about this move?
Some non-football fans, people that don't really understand the makeup of the NFL, they would think 7th round, that ain't shit, like whatever. But a 7th round could be a lot.
Right. I would say picks matter, but I'd take a player over a pick any day.
Definitely. And looking at just his 6'4" big body receiver, that's what we've been missing. It's the cheaper one too. We really, you think about it, we didn't give up too much for this one because we could have done everything and gave up the whole house for DK Metcalf and had to pay him back, And
we're not even in a situation to even get an ROI from that transaction either, just because we get DK at this point in his career where we're still probably at best 3 years away. So
at best, yeah.
Quite honestly, I mean, Bears, we're all Bears fans. We know good and well that this year is not going to result in a Super Bowl trophy.
What hell no.
So
and N'Keal Harry didn't get us closer.
The question we have to ask ourselves: why are we giving up picks at all?
I'll take N'Keal Harry for a 7th rounder. He was a 1st round receiver. The risk is worth the reward. I think it's very low risk, high reward.
It's next year's draft too.
Next year, okay.
Next year.
Next year, I got you.
I wouldn't hold my breath on him panning out, but I mean it's worth a shot. And we need big receivers because we got all these little guys who are fast and could get open, but when it's time to throw a deep ball, they can't come down with it.
You know what? I think it's time for David Montgomery to show that he's a top 5, top 6 back in the league.
He can get that.
He's definitely underrated.
Yeah, I don't like. There's very few people in the NFL who I respect or love to watch play football more than him, and I think he could do it. I think he can change the perception of that style of running backs.
Well, he has to stay healthy first, which he struggled with last year. And I will say this, I don't think it's as much as it on him as it is his offensive line and that coaching staff, because his ass ain't never had a good O-line, but he's still consistently getting
Right.
yards after contact, which are typically in the backfield.
And I say this. So a running back needs an offensive line. So a running back,
Yes.
so a good running back can't be a good running back without a good offensive line.
No.
But I'll also say that about a quarterback.
Yes.
A great quarterback can't be a great
Except for Joe
quarterback without
Burrow.
an offensive line. And
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is
Joe Burrow.
the very few exceptions that I've ever. That's why I got so much respect for dude, because
Right.
you look throughout the NFL history and you look at every single elite quarterback and you match that up with their offensive line. Typically, those are
hand in hand, right?
Parallel with each other. So
exactly,
when you got the first quarterback to lead the AFC in sacks, make it to the Super Bowl, I just think that's unheard of, and I don't think there's really anybody like that in the NFL.
And he has sack talent too in the playoffs.
Right. They broke a record. Tennessee broke a record on their ass.
Yeah.
Most sacks in a playoff game.
Yeah. Still figured out how to win. I mean, Tannehill did kind of lose it.
No, Tannehill lost that. He threw 3 picks.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But now let's get into some college football talk. Now, each week we're going to go through conference by conference. We're going to say who's going to win. So let's start with the Big Ten, the big bad conference of the college football. So let's go Big Ten East. Who's winning the Big Ten East?
Well, first of all, Big Ten East.
He's a subject matter expert on this.
Yes, sir.
Break it down. Break it down to the science.
I'm a Big Ten analyst.
Okay, talk heavy.
I study the Big Ten.
Talk your shit.
But you know what? With this NIL environment that we're in, whereby everybody, I mean, let's be honest, the NIL has been around since the inception of college football. But now
that's a fact.
They can be unapologetic with it.
Right.
Or they can be very transparent with it. And you see, I mean, you look at
some
the news.
People said they took a pay cut
to
go to the league.
Yeah. And everybody's by everybody, I mean, all the recruits are just being sold by the highest bidder. And I think that's wrong. Not wrong, but I don't think it's good for the game. You know, it loses a lot of the genuineness of the game gets lost in with all the money, and that's what separates the college football game from the NFL game is that element of genuineness. But to answer your question, I think it's just going to be the same story, if not worse, because the big name schools are just gonna get better. I mean, Minnesota, we got money in Minnesota, but we ain't got, alumni that are willing to trade their entire net worth to fucking see the team win. Like, we don't have that. I mean, it just doesn't exist. But we gonna compete. Now, to answer your question, who specifically will win the East will be it'll be Ohio State. I do think Michigan can play. Michigan's turned over a new leaf.
Michigan State too.
Yep, Michigan State. That's gonna be tough because Michigan.
There's still there's a gap between Michigan State and Michigan and an Ohio State. I think there's still a gap there.
100%.
But no, I really like what Michigan did last year.
Because all of them can't succeed. You got, you know what I'm saying? They're all in the same conference and they're all beating the same people. I mean, third in the Big Ten East is not success,
No, it's not.
in the opinion of every single one of those schools.
Right.
But I love Big Ten. That's just what I do.
So we all got Ohio State winning the Big Ten East then, right?
Oh, of course. I mean, damn.
I would have to agree with that. But who? Because this year gonna plan out however it pans out. But next year, the Big Ten. So we start getting USC in and the UCLA's.
Perfect segue.
And if you want my honest opinion, I think they're going to push Purdue into the East. They're already kind of in the East with Indiana in that whole world.
Yeah.
They're going to push Purdue into the East, and then they're going to have UCLA and USC into the West. And that's going to make it really interesting. And I don't know how
West is going to be stacked.
West is going to be stacked, but it's just going to be more interesting conference as a whole. It's the Big Ten championship is going to be it's going to be similar to the SEC championship, but
right.
But I think it's better, my opinion.
I don't, but if you add USC, and I think USC is going to be back to a dynasty, especially with the new addition at coach and quarterback. They're going to be up there. They're going to be back. They'll probably be in the playoff this year, no question.
100%. They can do it for sure.
In a terrible conference.
Prior to what you just said with the new coach and with the new recruits and stuff like that, I don't think USC.
No.
If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think USC could even compete in the Big Ten the way that they have been playing. But as presently constructed, UCLA can't compete in the Big Ten right now either.
No.
But man, it just looks good having some
LA
teams with us. Man,
it's gonna be tough though, because you think USC, they gotta week in, week out, they gotta play Purdue, they gotta play teams in the Big Ten that aren't usually dubs on the schedule.
No, and if we're being honest with ourselves, well, I don't know how you guys view the competitiveness amongst conferences, but if we're being honest with ourselves, the Big Ten is the hardest place to win, in my opinion.
True.
You look at SEC, and they're adding Texas, and they're adding who else?
In
Oklahoma?
Terms of competition, yes, I agree.
Yeah, so if you compare apples to apples, now the SEC is a top-heavy league. Now, when you got Oklahoma coming in, that might make things different. Texas has been Texas, and I don't necessarily think they're going to be anything other than what they've been, which is a 4-7 team. Especially
they just got the Manning, the young Manning star.
Oh, I forgot about dude.
They hyped him up.
The game. Texas might be back.
They hyped him the fuck up.
But yeah, well, I got a lot of. I think that dude gonna be great. To be honest.
Yeah, that's all he knows. That's all he knows is slanging that football. That's all the conversation. Imagine that being at that dinner table as a child. They're talking about coverages. They asking, the Giants did this. What was this? How did the safety roll? This. They going deep into strategy, philosophy, and everything.
It's already in his DNA.
That's what I'm saying. That's all he knows. And that's English to him.
Yeah,
that's his language.
On top of that, bro, they said he's like Peyton, but can run.
They hyping my man's up, bro. They hyping my man's up. He ain't that athletic. Come on, now.
But
we're gonna find out though.
But Peyton Manning couldn't move at all.
No,
he could at least move.
Either could Eli. No, he can move. He can move compared to them. Yeah,
but that's 100%. Not saying too much
at all.
It's saying a lot when you. All right, I'm gonna let it go. But nevertheless, you got a up and coming. Okay, we can call them up and coming Texas team that has the opportunity. Coach. Yeah, They got a good coach for sure.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, we don't know what the hell going on with them. Maybe because once a coach leaves, culture goes with them. That standard goes with them.
Yes.
Oklahoma
Yes.
is always going to be a winning team, winning program, but you put that same team that don't play defense or don't respect defense to as high of a level they need to in the SEC, you might have some problems at Oklahoma. But so you're looking at a top-heavy SEC conference. I just feel like the Big Ten is more evenly, talent-wise, evenly and more dispersed. And people just got more heart in the Big Ten. Let's be honest.
You gotta have heart to be playing in Minnesota in fucking December.
Man,
it ain't nothing like that cold. Good God.
You gotta have heart to even be in the stands watching this shit.
Oh man, I mean, damn. There was some days like I'm never going to a football game in the winter ever again.
Yeah.
I got trauma from that shit.
Right. And the coldest game I ever played at was in Northwestern, though.
Really?
Chicago, right off the lake. So I think, yeah, it's unanimous in the Big Ten. You gotta be a tough dude to play that.
Yeah,
sure.
it's a great conference, but it's not the SEC. Let's be honest. These boys at Georgia
you paid
and
guys
Alabama,
$1 billion a year. Of course, it's gonna be good.
These people are freaks of nature. Their whole depth chart is Hall of Famers. We're not talking about college. We talk about NFL. Like shit don't make no damn sense.
Georgia's defense last year was
that shit was impenetrable.
Yeah.
What's the most yards rushing they gave up that last year? It was ridiculous. It was less than 100, that I believe. I think they gave up more than 100 against Florida. That's because Florida runs the ball with their quarterback and he's a freak.
In modern football, we haven't seen anything like that before.
Hell no. That dominant on the defensive front.
I mean, you can look at the 85 Bears and see that they was just blitzing 10 guys every play.
Which was unheard of. That shit was like seeing a car. Of course, they didn't know how to block this.
But I mean, that's saying something, comparing that defense to the 85 Bears. Not a college.
I mean, what? They got them as one of the top defenses in college football history.
Yeah. I put them at number one, and it's not even a close.
I will say Joe Burrow, LSU, busting that ass.
You think so?
Hell yeah.
Come on, man.
That boy, look at what he's doing in the league. I will say, if they do not improve on their offensive line this year, that form of winning is not sustainable. He's already got hurt his rookie year, and him taking that many hits fresh off of an ACL. I mean, good God. There's no excuse.
I tell you this, you put Joe Burrow on the Patriots, he's got 2 Super Bowls already.
Hell yeah, he got 2 in 1 year and shit. I will say Zach Taylor is a great coach, though. From him to take them to where they were at a year ago to the Super Bowl. Come on,
man. And it's not like they got a bunch of older guys. They all young core.
Shit, great young core. They got a bunch of free agents. They about to run it back. But I will say, I think they did catch lightning in a bottle. I don't anticipate them having that much success. I mean, they was putting video game numbers up. Him and what's the receiver's name?
Chase.
Right. Chase, I don't see that happening again.
That AFC North, all of them were hurt. You think about an AFC North with Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, them all healthy.
Right. I think they're going to take Jamar Chase seriously and double him every play, like all the great receivers get. And he ain't going to have these type of numbers. I mean, he put up video game numbers like he was still in college.
Yeah.
As a rookie. Insane.
Yeah, but I mean, looking from the outside in, obviously, the NFL, like as opposed to college football culture begins with the coach and it ends
Right.
with the coach. The NFL is more collaborative than that.
That's a fact.
NFL, you got to have a great owner before anything.
1,000%.
That's why
1,000%.
one of the many reasons why the Bears can't fucking win.
Nah, yeah, no.
Our
Upper
owner,
management is shitty.
our owner's been around football his whole life, and yet he don't know anything about football.
Right. There's no excuse for having this many terrible quarterbacks. Justin Fields is our greatest quarterback of all time, and the man has played half a season. Like, come on now. That's unacceptable. That's bad leadership.
100%.
Sorry, I got off on the tangent.
Nah, you good. With the last question I'm going to ask, just thinking about it at work, all my great ideas come from Target, back room, stock room, you know.
There you go.
I'm telling your manager. You need to be locked in that way.
So
I
if
can
you
literally
could go,
tell your manager.
hey, don't do that. Don't do that. But if you could go in a time machine, Uncle Rico fashion, you know, go back in time machine, change things.
Shout out Uncle Rico.
Shout out Uncle Rico. What sports moment would you go back in history to change?
Okay. We talking just a play, or can I change an entire game? Can I change
Whatever you
game?
want? Whatever.
No
Whatever you want. Make up the rules. Whatever you want.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's an interesting question.
Very.
Because the first thing that came to my mind was, you know, I want to see Tyson win that fight versus Buster Douglas.
Me too.
I do, and a lot of people don't know. I feel like he won it because he knocked Buster Douglas down, and the referee counted to, it seemed like 12. Like it took him forever to count to 10, essentially.
Fair enough.
Tyson gets knocked down. He gets called off in like 8 seconds, 7 seconds. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. You know, I'm a big Tyson fan, but thinking back to something more relevant to our prior conversations, I would say, you know, if the Bears beat the Colts that year,
Man.
in 06, Chicago would be, the economy of Chicago would be completely different right now. You wouldn't have major debt deficit in Chicago like you do now. That's just my opinion. So
that's a good answer. I like both of those.
You know,
what you got for us, JF?
Well, let me give you a Bears one and a not Bears one. So my Bears one is the double doink. I mean, good God, Mitchell Trubisky was a beast.
I was thinking
he got us to
too.
the promised land, and we missed a field goal. We were the dark horse to be in the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Our franchise quarterback if we win.
That's how hot we were, bro.
We won the NFC North.
That's what I'm saying. We was on lights out defensively. Come on,
and
now.
we would have.
Mitch was playing at a high level.
We lost to who? We lost to the Eagles.
Yeah,
who went on to win that year, win the whole thing that year.
They didn't win that year, did they? They were.
I think it was the year before they won the whole thing.
Yeah, the year before they won the whole thing.
That
year,
went to the
they were a wild card. We hosted them.
Okay, so who won that year?
The Patriots beat the Rams.
The Patriots beat the Rams like 9-6.
Oh, bro! All right.
Both teams couldn't get past the 50. It was ridiculous.
What was your non-Bears one then?
Okay, my non-Bears one is, I'll never forget this, but we're in the Mall of America watching, we're at some restaurant in there watching the Super Bowl against the Patriots and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks were my favorite team at the time, mainly because of base model. So they get all the way down to the field. They got down there so well. This clock management was so superb. They had an option on the goal line to pass or run. which is, I mean, shoot, that's the devil's kiss from if I'm not mistaken, Julian, defensively.
Right on.
Where the time doesn't matter, the type of play doesn't matter. We can do anything, and they had the opportunity to run, but they decided to get cute. Albeit that's a low percentage pass in terms
Very
of
low
like
percentage.
interception rate and incompletion. Like it's either going to be an incompletion or it's a touchdown. And they've ran that play over and over again.
Was that third or fourth down? You remember?
It might have been third or second. But
yeah, it wasn't
they had it up.
So
They had two down,
right, we'll
two plus
it.
downs.
They're thinking, all right, we'll throw it. He messed around and drops it. We'll just run the next play.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean the matchups, the personnel matchups from the from the Patriots. I mean, good God, they were literally in goal line, but with all cornerbacks.
Right.
So that was, I mean, they just matched up. They were in trips. They made sure they showed heavy run stop, and I mean, hats off to the Patriots for that play. But man, I feel like Beast Mode, he was actually one of the main reasons why they got down there. He carried the ball multiple times on that drive. And he was making guys miss and breaking tackles.
Right.
I feel like, come on now, we've all been in that mode as a running back where you getting down the field, you feeling good, and then you just get stopped at the goal line, somebody else scores. So
100%.
it happens, but damn, I that's definitely one moment I wish he would have got scored and then got, Super Bowl MVP, and
he would have got it.
That's his history.
But my moment is, I'm taking it over every moment in history that has ever happened. We'll go back to Philadelphia 76ers playing the Bulls in the playoffs. D Rose, sub him out.
Oh.
Get him out before that play. That changes everything. D Rose
That's a good one, Micah.
Man,
I'll give you that.
We was fucked up in the city,
MVPs.
Man. We was going through it.
Yeah,
fuck the bullshit.
Man.
That was a tough time, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That was awful.
He did have Chicago jumping.
Like it's never been before. And dude was electric. And just to see how his whole career took a turn for the worst right after that was
Ja Morant before Ja Morant. And before Russell too.
Right, before Russ.
He was better than Ja Morant. Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
He was more fun to watch.
Yes.
They was number one in the East.
Yes.
And a LeBron East.
Right.
Right.
LeBron in Miami East. Come on now.
Right.
Yeah, Kyle Korver as a all-star that year too, wasn't he? He was an all-star. Joakim Noah was an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ben Gordon that year too, right?
Shit. No, I don't think we did. Ronnie Brewer was on that team though.
Ronnie Brewer. Yeah, right.
That's when Joakim was top. He had some MVP votes.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Before we leave, you got another hot take for us, an official hot take. You've been throwing hot takes out there, but give us one official one.
Put your brand on the line.
You know what? My hot take for this upcoming year for sports is the Bulls. The Bulls are going to make it to the finals.
Oh hell no! You just saying shit.
And let me just explain why.
We getting KD?
No, we ain't getting none of the boys. But people don't understand one thing.
He made it sound right.
But you got to understand, people were saying we was going to win the East last year. When we was hooping, people were saying
first seed.
So all I'm saying
is
exactly what they said last year. Only we got another whole year under our belt for just camaraderie, just people to not be hurt, not be on COVID lists. And, we got the whole squad with us. We got a year where, what's the name? Patrick
Williams.
Patrick Williams has a year of experience under him, the glove,
The Paul.
or the palm, or whatever you call them. Come on, I mean, Caruso knows
Lonzo coming back too.
Lonzo knows how to play basketball. We got dudes on our team that would go for first round picks. I mean, if we being honest,
Levine probably get a first round pick. Not 4, but he'll get a couple.
Yeah,
2.5.
And DeRozan, all he has to do is replicate what he did last year.
Shit, if he gets an MVP, yeah, we can go to the finals. He playing MVP level
if he has another year like he did last year, and then he shows up in the playoffs, bro. What you mean we could go to the finals? Who's in our way?
What, are you insane? I don't give a
It's not
fuck
like we
if
gotta play.
DeRozan's MVP or not. He's not better than Giannis, KD, or Jason Tatum. So we can shut all that shit out.
We got dudes that can slow them down now.
Can't nobody slow Giannis, KD, JT.
But where the hell is KD gonna be? We don't even know. So
he's gonna be in Brooklyn, bro. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, but we don't even know where he's gonna be. And the only team I would say we would need to be, I think Milwaukee is on the decline. I think the only team that would be tough is Boston.
Okay, period. And that's what you put your stamp on that take right there.
You know the reason why we lost to Milwaukee? And it wasn't because of Giannis. So let's just get that out of the way.
Okay, then why the hell?
The reason we lost to Milwaukee was because of Grayson Allen. He came in off the bench and gets 25 every game.
He was hooping.
He wanted some get back.
Come on. And if we got Lonzo on the team, that shit ain't happening. Come on now. It's just not happening.
Nah, I think that was the perfect way to end the show. Great take. Great hot take. Gonna use that for clips. Don't worry. You're gonna see it out there.
Trying to run our credibility.
But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, the quality is getting better. The audio is on the come up. All the people that have listened to us and watched us with the blurry cameras, all that stuff, we appreciate you. Just wait. We'll give you your shout outs when we're big time. But thank you again for listening and watching. Give us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts. Check out the Instagram and the Twitter, 6-Man Blitz. But thank you. As always, peace. The opposite of that, what was your welcome to college football moment?
Right.
Oh,
you got your shit rock.